Hey guys, welcome back to Good Stuff for You. We're making good stuff for you. So last time we did 10 epic Marvel superheroes. So today I was like, you know what? Why don't I do 10 epic DC heroes? So I did take like 2 days. I didn't make any videos because I made a video, but then I was trying to edit it and it's just all a mess, and I'm still working on that one. I don't know what's gonna happen with it. I don't know if I'm gonna come out with it, but if I do, stay tuned. I don't know how good it'll be, but we'll see. Okay, so basically what I'm gonna do with these superheroes, I'm just gonna go through them. I literally was just taking out my book and I was like, that guy's cool. Yeah, she's pretty cool too. So I got 10 superheroes. I'm not doing any like listing or anything like that. I'm just talking about them, why I like them, why I think they're really cool. As you can see, I got my Justice League shirt on right now. In fact, I even have my Teen Titans water cup right here with me. So why don't we just hop right into it with the first one, Zatanna. Zatanna, she's a magician, you know. She's got all these magical abilities. I really like magician superheroes, so that's why I like her a lot. But the main reason that I like her is, aside from just being a superhero, she also is like an actual magician, and that's like her job, you know, or whatever. So I think that that's like a really cool story that they can use a lot of the times. The idea of her being like a real life performer and almost sort of a celebrity by being this magician, when in real life she's actually this really awesome superhero with all these awesome powers. I also really like a lot of her comics. Yeah, next one, moving on. Nightwing. I love Nightwing, and here's why. So originally when Dick Grayson was Robin, the first Robin, you know, I really liked him a lot. He was very cool. I loved reading the comics with him in it, just because he's an all-around good guy. And that's mainly why I like him a lot. Also, I really like Batman. He's kind of like a lighter version of Batman too. And in this one comic, I just remember like reading, and Batman was talking to like this alternate reality dude where basically everyone who was good was bad, and everyone who bad in this universe was good in that universe. And basically Batman was like, what about Dick Grayson? And then the other guy was like, oh, he's still good. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so awesome. Like in every single DC comic, basically Dick Grayson or Nightwing is just this symbol of good, like this pillar of goodness in a world of chaos and stuff. And that's why I really like him. Also, he's like super acrobatic and stuff and super cool, like a Batman-esque character, and I really like Batman. So Nightwing, super cool, super awesome. Moving on, love this character. It's my mom's favorite for sure. Wonder Woman. I know she's a big time, huge superhero, and yeah, she's definitely by far the biggest superhero on my list. In fact, my next one's a really small superhero, but Wonder Woman, super awesome, super cool. First of all, Themyscira and everything like that is just a great setting in terms of DC Comics, in addition to a really good and unique backstory. And then her powers are super awesome, and the invisible jet is so freaking cool. I cannot get over it enough. It is just awesome. In my opinion, probably the best mode of transportation in DC Comics, including the Batmobile. So that is pretty darn high praise. And then she got the bracelets, which are awesome. And then the lasso of truth. I mean, Wonder Woman, it's just like awesome on awesome on awesome on awesome on awesome. So what not to like about Wonder Woman? And also she's getting more popular because of the movie, obviously, which is awesome. Wonder Woman, super awesome, super cool character. Moving on, this character, I'd be surprised if anyone knows who this is, honestly. Black Condor. This dude, for some reason, I just found him, and I really like Black Condor. He had this limited series. It was like 12 comics or something like that, and I have every single one of them. Basically, he can fly and talk to birds, and that's it. But he's cool. He's cool. He's kind of like Batman, who can fly and doesn't have all the fancy equipment, so kind of not like Batman at all, I guess. But he's just a really small and unique character. He fights with the Freedom Fighters, or at least the newest version of him does. And I like the Freedom Fighters a lot. But Black Condor, I just really think he's really unique. Also, he's another one where he has powers, but they're not like super overwhelmingly powerful. So overall, I think he's a cool character. I'd be surprised if anyone honestly knows who he is. I mean, in my book, he literally has a sentence. He's in like the way back of it. So I mean, yeah, he's a cool character though. I like him a lot. Next up, this dude's a little bit bigger, but still not like super huge like in the tiers of DC Comics. I'd say he's like a B tier popularity. So he's like pretty popular. I'd say most comic fans know who he is, but everyday non-comic book fan probably doesn't. And that's Firestorm. So here's why I like Firestorm. So many crazy cool powers. I have this one comic with him where he uses so many. First of all, he's got like power, like fire bolts that shoot out of his hands. He can fly. He can turn invisible. I didn't even know that. Like he can phase through things. He has heat vision that comes out of his eyes. And then here's the coolest power of all. He can use his powers to change the chemical composition of things to create completely new materials. And for that, he actually has to like know the chemical compositions of everything like that. So he's like crazy smart and he's got all these crazy, super awesome powers. So that's just why I love him. And I mean, I just think he's a really unique character that I wish they utilized more because I feel like he doesn't get any recognition at all when he is extremely cool, extremely powerful for sure. Next up, this one is also like a fairly large character, but not as big as even Firestorm, Dr. Mid-Nite. So I really like Dr. Mid-Nite because he comes from the JSA, and the JSA is probably my favorite superhero team just in all comics for sure. And Dr. Mid-Nite is just one of the coolest of that. Specifically the newer version of him, where he is like an actual doctor. I think he's a doctor in both this version and the older version. And he can only see in night mainly. In this one, he can see like the infrared and stuff like that, so he can help people so much. And he's also kind of like Batman, where he doesn't have any powers aside from his vision, I guess. And he's got all these cool gadgets and stuff. He's got the blackout bombs to make everything go dark, like this one comic I have with him. And he's got the blackout bomb, and he just blacks everything out, and no one can see. It's just him going just going nuts. And it's awesome. He's just a really cool character. I also like his persona a lot, where he's kind of like quiet, laid back, really self-reserved, but also really power packs a punch. Great character, super valuable to any team. If I was making a superhero team, he would definitely be on it for sure. Moving on, another doctor from the JSA actually, Dr. Fate. Super awesome, super cool, so much power that just isn't utilized. I'd put him in probably the top 5 most powerful characters in DC in terms of superheroes, not any like celestial beings or anything like that. Just because he has so much magical abilities with his helmet. Insanely powerful and also insanely cool. I also really like how his helmet is kind of a different persona than himself. Like when he puts on the helmet, he becomes Dr. Fate versus when he takes it off and he becomes himself. Overall, like I said, really cool. And also he lives in like this tower kind of alone with his wife, but it's kind of like a mystical tower and it's really cool. And just in my opinion, seeing like magic people just go one-on-one is probably the coolest thing I can find in superhero comics. Just when they're like throwing the bullets back and forth, because everyone else basically, no matter how powerful, can't do anything at all. Like in this one comic, Dr. Fate was going up against Mordred, I believe. So another really powerful magic guy. And all the other JSA characters like the Flash, Green Lantern, both of them the older versions, try to go in and like in 1 second they're just completely out. And it's just Dr. Fate and Mordred just going boom. Epic, awesome, love it. Moving on, Booster Gold. So these next two I'm just gonna do them hand in hand. Blue Beetle and Booster Gold. Like the buddy tag team of comics. They're just fun. Their comics are really fun, but also when they get serious, it's also really cool too. Like when they're like, we need to focus on the mission, you know, and then they become awesome. But just kind of like the buddy relationship that they have is why they're super awesome. And they're two characters, again, who don't really have an absurd amount of powers. They're not that powerful, but when they put their mind to it or whatever, that sounded so cheesy. But they can really just do really cool stuff. And that's why I like both of them a lot, because just they're super fun personalities and it's just them like messing around, you know, it just really reminds me of just like being it reminds me that like superheroes are people too, I guess. Like, I know they're fake, obviously, but it personifies them a lot more. So that's why they're just super cool. And then my final one is another JSA character. I love the JSA. Mr. Terrific, specifically the new version of Mr. Terrific. So cool. He is so cool. He's like Batman, but cooler in my opinion. In fact, Batman like he put Blue Beetle, Booster Gold, and Nightwing, and a couple of other people on like his hand-picked team to like go fight Brother Eye, which is just super awesome. It's just such an epic team. Anyway, gotta get back on topic, I'm sorry. Mr. Terrific is so cool. First of all, you got the mask that's like the T, which is awesome and looks great. And I think it's just like nano chips or whatever, and you can just kind of click it on and off. And then he's got the T-spheres, which are awesome because they can do all sorts of things. They can be weaponized. They can use to create like illusions. They can just hit people in the side of the head, honestly. And then Mr. Terrific is so smart. He's also extremely athletic. He has like a ton of different black belts. He's like a literal Olympic gold medalist. He's just like so cool. And also he's a real father figure to a couple of the other younger characters in JSA, which is why I like him a lot. He's got great personality, awesome like story, and I think his wife was killed or something like that. So he's got a great story, and also him being like Olympian and stuff like that. Super intelligent, super athletic, got cool, awesome gadgets. I mean, what is not to like about Mr. Terrific? I mean, come on. So those are like 10 superheroes from DC that I really like a lot, that I find super cool. I hope you check them out, especially Black Condor. I mean, if you can find him, I guess. But these are just 10 people that I think are really awesome and super cool from the DC universe. I had a hard time narrowing it down. I was just going through. I was like, oh boy, that person's good. Oh my gosh, that person's good. I had to cross out a bunch of people. I had Aquaman before. I had Flash on there. I had Black Lightning on there before. But I had to trim it down a little bit to just get the people that I think are super epic and super awesome. Not saying that those three aren't awesome. But I just did a little bit of tweaking, you know what I'm saying? So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm gonna try to get that other video up. I don't know what's gonna happen. But stay good and we'll see you soon.